This is a really simple fix, but basically one thing that you can do for free to increase the quality of your Canon M50 is What's happening YouTube? Jordan Week here with Jaw Music and Media, bringing you quality info for quality production. The Canon M50. We all know it. Most of us love it. It just feels like there's that 15% that's just lacking with this camera. And we know that it's a budget mirrorless camera. I mean, it's not that expensive as far as decent budget cameras go. But yeah, it just feels like there's just that little thing that's lacking with this camera. And I actually recently just took a trip to Israel. I brought this camera with me just because it's small, it's easy to lug around. And for the most part, I was happy with what this camera was able to do, but there was something just slightly off with the way that it looked. I was putting together this video of, kind of highlighting our trip, and I was wanting it to look, super cinematic, kind of like that cinematic travel film, cinematic travel video. It was just missing something. I couldn't exactly pinpoint what that was until I got back and started looking through the footage, and that's when I noticed the biggest issue was the dynamic range. So I was using the kit lens with this camera, which is a decent lens. It is a 15 to 45 millimeter lens, and this is the M series lens, the EFM lens that goes with Canon's mirrorless cameras like the M50 or the M100. So this wasn't a bad lens to use, but normally cheaper cameras are known to have less powerful dynamic range capabilities. And if you're not really familiar with what dynamic range is, it's a camera's ability to produce definition and clarity in the highlights of an image as well as the shadows of an image. The Canon M50 definitely has a little bit better dynamic range than, let's say, your iPhone, but it was just missing, like I said, that 15%. So today I'm going to show you a way to fix that for free. Now, whether you are a beginner filmmaker, photographer, or more advanced, this will apply to you, although I would expect more advanced filmmakers and photographers to know what I'm about to share with you. If not, no worries, keep watching. This is a really simple fix, but basically one thing that you can do for free to increase the quality of your Canon M50 or any budget camera that has poor dynamic range is to install a third-party picture profile called Cinestyle by TECHNICOLOR. So a lot of you might already know what Cinestyle is, and you might already be using it. If not, we're going to go through some examples showing you the standard picture profile dynamic range on the Canon M50, and we're going to show you what Cinestyle looks like. Let's check out some test shots. Alright, so for the purposes of this video, we're going to be using just the standard kit lens, just to give you an example of how this camera looks most naturally with the lens that it comes with. Alright, so I've got the 15 to 45 on there. Change the battery. Well, crap. This better be charged. So I'm powering the camera on. Let's go to the picture profiles, and when I first started using this, I think while I was in Israel, I had it set to the standard picture profile, which is the one that's on by default. And if you're not very familiar with picture profiles, basically if you go in, you can see it's got these different settings right here. So you've got your sharpness, strength, you've got your contrast, saturation, and color tone. Picture profiles allow for you to customize the quality of your image. So we have it set to standard right now. So let's do a couple of test shots of this and see what it looks like. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of point my M50 around at a couple of different spots here. So as you can see, I mean, the room is pretty dark right now, and since this is a standard kit lens, the f-stop only opens up to about 3.5, and the ISO right now is set to 400. If I point it at like these shadows right here, I have an audio interface right here that you can barely see. I mean, you can barely see anything up underneath there. Yeah, it doesn't look horrible, but like I said, it's just missing that little bit. That kind of gave you a pretty good example of just the standard quality of the Canon M50. Now we're going to go back to our picture profiles. So user definition 1, this is a picture profile that I put all the settings in myself. And to show you what that looks like, if we open it up and we go hit info, I have the sharpness strength all the way down. I have contrast all the way down to sort of kind of enhance the dynamic range a little bit. I have saturation down 2 notches, and then color tone I haven't messed with, it's still at 0. So let's go back and let's do a test shot of this real quick. So as you can tell, we're getting a little bit more information. Shadows are still pretty dark. I mean, and you can tell there's a little less saturation since I turned the saturation down a little bit. It's actually a good thing if you want more options to color grade in post. So those were my settings. Now let's go and let's open picture profiles back up. And let's scroll over to picture profile user definition 2, which it's already set to Cinestyle because I've already installed it on here. And if you need tutorials on how to do that, there's plenty of tutorials online. All right, now it's set to Cinestyle. To show you what this looks like. Wow, look how much information we're getting in the shadows. I mean, you can even see everything underneath the table. You can see everything underneath here. You can see my Focusrite interface. It does a great job of balancing out the dynamic range, especially in the shadows. So yeah, that is super impressive, and you're not gonna get this kind of look just straight out of the Canon M50 itself. So the people at TECHNICOLOR have done a really awesome job of creating a sort of vlog picture profile. So yeah, that's all I've got. I hope that this was informative and helpful for you. Definitely install Cinestyle, especially if you have a lower budget camera that doesn't have amazing dynamic range capabilities. And I think this is gonna go a long way to help you produce a little more professional footage. So if you like this video, if it was helpful, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for updates on future videos that I upload. And until then, peace.